Welcome back. Now, the AmaZulu Royal family is holding an eNCA ceremony following the passing of King Goodwill's Zwelithini Bhekuzulu. The main ceremonies are taking place ahead of King Misuzulu Zwelithini's coronation. A ritual hunt was completed yesterday, and the cleansing takes place today at Wakangela Makengane Royal Palace in Nongoma. Now, to discuss the significance of the ceremony, we're joined by Mabuto Ngobo. He is a producer here at eNCA. Mabuto, thank you so much for speaking to me about this. During the course of the week, we heard the advisors, hold a media briefing saying that this is actually not the rightful king of the AmaZulu. But the coronation is going ahead, the cleansing is now happening. So what does this mean going forward for the other faction that believes that King Misuzulu shouldn't be on the throne?
It will appear that now, because this has to be done before the coronation. So now that this is done, it means that the date for the coronation is imminent. I'm not a Sangoma, but I suspect it will be a matter of weeks or even days. We may hear that this date is going to be the coronation date. Remember that the date was on the 28th of May, but then unfortunately we had floods in KZN. So as a result, it was decided that it will not be wise. They have to mourn before the coronation should go ahead. So after this event of this weekend that has been done now, it's quite clear that the coronation is going to go ahead. It's just a matter of time. Perhaps maybe this coming week we may hear the announcement of the date, or maybe it's a matter of weeks, but it's quite clear. But remember, the other faction is saying that we conducted the cleansing last year. So therefore, what is being done, if I can quote unquote what they were saying, they were saying that what is happening this weekend is just a comic. But on the other hand, you have the Prime Minister of AmaZulu Nation, Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, saying that what they are saying is not accurate, because the cleansing has to be done by the king or somebody who is going to take over from the late king. So there is that contestation, and it will appear that this contestation between these two factions is going to continue for quite some time, because as we speak, I believe that they have put the matter to the Supreme Court of Appeal, because they lost in Pietermaritzburg High Court.
And Mabuto, I'm quite interested to know what happens then, because obviously the Zulu family is quite divided. We've seen this before, it's history repeating itself. But if a cleansing happens and, for instance, those children, the passing king's children don't join King Misuzulu in this cleansing before he takes all imikhonto that used to be his father's, etc. What happens to those children? Because my understanding is that a cleansing is very important culturally for you to be cleansed of isinyama after a passing of a parent. So if they don't attend, what happens to them?
It's an important question to ask, but also a difficult one to answer, because I'm asking myself the very same question, that what is going to happen now that if those who are not going to attend, because it's very important that they all unite and be part of this ceremony. So now you have the other faction not taking part in this important event. So it's a difficult one, but let's hope that as the time proceeds, perhaps at some point, they will be able to find each other and find a way forward and unite behind one king, because the other faction is of the view that the elder son of the late king is the one who's supposed to take over. On the other hand, you have this other faction that is in pole position currently, because President Cyril Ramaphosa has already pronounced that King Misuzulu is the one. So it's just a matter of time before we know the coronation date. But as we speak, I mean, the King Misuzulu is already presiding over a number of events. If I'm not mistaken, he was there during the opening of Parliament in KwaZulu-Natal, the provincial legislature. Yeah. So he's currently performing all the duties that used to be performed by the late king of AmaZulu, King Goodwill Zwelithini Bhekuzulu. So the coronation is just a mere formality that has to happen so that, it become something that is confirmed that indeed he is a king. But if you look at the history of AmaZulu Nation, the coronation you can see that the official, the way it is done now, it's because of the Western influence and stuff like that. But AmaZulu people are already recognizing him as the king of AmaZulu.
And I just want to speak to the visuals that the team is showing on screen now. These are actually live visuals coming from our team on the ground. Siphamandla Goke is also there, as well as Manqoba Mchunu. You can see that there's also the Swati side of the royal family, right? Which is very important because King Misuzulu's mother was Swati. But also the fact that he's being endorsed by the Prime Minister, Mabuto. How important is that?
Yeah, it is important indeed. As you say, we can see that there are people from Eswatini that are there. We know that the king's mother is from Eswatini. She was a daughter of the late King Sopuza of Eswatini. So indeed, Prince Mangosuthu is one of important figures in the Zulu Royal House. He has served as a prime minister of almost 3 kings, because he served as a prime minister of Zulu Nation under the grandfather of the current king. He also served as a prime minister under the late king, King Zwelithini Kapeguzulu. So currently he's also serving as a prime minister of the Zulu Nation under the current king. But on top of that, he may be a Buthelezi by surname, but he is by blood of a royal Zulu royal house, because his mother he was a daughter of King Dinizulu, the son of King Cetshwayo, the one who presided, who was a king when there was that famous battle that is often talked about, the Anglo-Zulu War, the Battle of Sandwane. If I'm not mistaken, it was on the 22nd of January, 1879. So he is a very important figure to the Zulu nation. So he has presided, he has served as a prime minister for a very, very long time. If my memory serves me well, I do not think there is any prime minister of AmaZulu nation that has served for such a long time. So he's a very important figure. But at the same time, he's also of a royal blood, because his mother is also from the Zulu Royal House. So he's a very important figure for AmaZulu nation.
All right, so he's been endorsed by the Prime Minister Buthelezi, but also he was endorsed, as you say, when the president announced that he does endorse him and confirm, his throne, or him sitting on the throne. How important is it, in terms of how far politics play in the Zulu royal family, whether it be in KZN in particular, and even all the way to the presidency? Is it important that he was endorsed by the president?
Yeah, you're asking a very important question about the importance of the Zulu king and in the body politics, especially in KZN, because in politics the currency is the numbers. If you've got the numbers, you know that chances are that if you aspire to go to a particular position or certain office in government or in politics, then you must have the numbers. So the currency there is the numbers. So the king has the numbers. The Zulu nation, they are always behind their king. So if you want the numbers, if you want that currency and you aspire to be in politics, then therefore you must be seen to be behind the AmaZulu king, especially in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Remember, in the early 90s, there was a contestation between the IFP and the ANC, because all of them, they knew that the currency in politics is the numbers. So all of them, they wanted to be seen to be on the side of the king, because if you're on the side of the king, then chances are that you may be able, to get the numbers that you need. So it's very important. Right now, we're going to the provincial ANC conference in KZN. I'm not sure when the date will be, but whoever aspire to lead the ANC in that province definitely would like to be seen to be on the side of the king, because there is that currency that I'm talking about, which is the numbers. You need those numbers.
And I assume those numbers also go all the way through to the electorate as well.
Indeed.
Because, of course, the Zulu nation does love its king. Let's give the viewers some, natural audio of what's happening at Wakangala Makanyana right now. All right, we do have senior reporter Siphamandla Goke, who is actually at the Royal House at the moment to be able to tell us exactly what's happening. Sipa, I had given myself and the viewers an opportunity to just listen in and watch the visuals where you are. Just explain to us exactly what this part of the program is about. All right. While we try and establish connectivity to Siphamandla Goke, let's continue with those visuals while I ask Mabuto Ngobo this. In terms of what I saw earlier, those images, Mama Baseshembe, the church, that is one of the biggest churches in South Africa, if I'm not mistaken, or is it the continent? So that endorsement is also very important for the king.
It is very important. In fact, we've seen Shembe church members at some point, if I'm not mistaken, it was earlier this year or last year, they had some event there at Gwakangela Mankengani. So as I keep on saying, the currency in politics is the numbers. So you also need those numbers as well, because you know that you've got these two factions. I can see now it looked like the king wanted to say something, is about to speak, but it's very important to have those numbers, especially if there's this factionalism that is going on there. So if you are supported by also a number of people, including members of the Shembe Church, which, by the way, in KZN, there are so many. You can see them when they're wearing those white regalias and they are there. You know that you are really supported, and you are a force to be reckoned with. So you need that, especially if you are in a situation where there is a faction as a king of a nation like AmaZulu. There is a faction that is contesting you, so you need that as well.
I think Ibuto is actually speaking around there, around the king. Let's try and listen in to find out exactly what they're saying to the people there.
Ngicala sengifoma mawufundwe izinto ngimdala ngikhona. Ngofanele ukuthi bekhona hlabathi mphuphu mthakathi esibethi nazo mphuphu mthakathi naso thakathi naso mphuphu mthakathi naso besifazana naso Umtaka, Pupum Taga, Nazo Taga, Pupum Taga, Ezo Taga, Pupum Taga, Ezo tagat. Upum tagat. Eso tagat. Upu ni. Upum tagat. Upum tagat ni. Upum tagat. Upum tagat. Eso tagat. Upum tagat. Eso tagat.
Mabuto, I'm quite interested in why the Prime Minister, Mangosuthu Buthelezi, is singing this particular song, because my understanding is that culturally songs are, some type of message, sometimes maybe an undertone. What he's saying, for the viewers who don't understand, he's saying, Pumtagati, ezotagata, meaning where is the bewitcher to come and bewitch? Why would he sing this particular
He's saying, Ngiphuphi
Oh,
yes,
That's even worse.
So like you are saying that people express themselves through music, through songs. So there may be some meaning behind that song, as you know that currently there is this ongoing contestation. I'm not saying that maybe the song, there's an element of sarcasm in that song. But, I mean, you ask yourself, why Pum Tagat? But it's one of those songs that, people sing when there are traditional ceremonies. That they express themselves through music. If it could be that maybe there was a significant historical event, maybe that song is coming from there. It could be that maybe it is meant for the current situation that is happening. So it may be up to the viewer at home to interpret on his or her own what exactly is the meaning behind. Could it be just a normally historical song, or it could be maybe what is happening currently, indeed.
All right, to the viewers, we are going to be going back to these visuals a little later on and speaking to Mabuto Ngobo, an eNCA producer, about the Zulu culture. Hopefully we'll also be able to get in touch with senior reporter Siphamandla Goke to give us more details and possibly a few interviews with those who are there. Ngiphuphe umthakathi ezotagata, for those who don't understand, means I dreamt of a witch wanting to bewitch.